Hey, and welcome to Aura Talks. My name is Leandra. I'm a human design specialist and I work in the holistic health field. And in this video, we're going to explore another environment, which is mountains. I have already recorded 3 previous videos on human design environment, which you can check out on my channel. And we're building up basically. So we have 3 hardscapes, which are caves, markets, and kitchens. And now we're moving from the hardscapes, meaning the more closer surroundings, more something like a home, an office, actually physical place, into more of a landscape theme, which starts with mountains. Then we also have valleys and shores, which are videos that are up to come. So if you are a mountains person, this video is for you. Also, if you know someone who's mountains, it could be interesting to see what they're like and what their needs are. So as we already said, we have mountains, which is more of a landscape theme, which means it is more about the environment, the scenery that is around these people. So the immediate home is not that much of an importance, more so where is your home, what is surrounding you, what are the circumstances of your home. So mountains could mean the actual physical mountains. So you potentially like being in the mountains, or you live maybe already on a mountain, or more like a higher altitude. Maybe let's say Mexico City, for example, is almost up until 3,000 meters. So that would be obviously very ideal for a mountains person, because already the whole city is very much high up on a mountain. What's important is actually the theme of oxygen, meaning why do you like it to be high up? Because there is a deprivation of oxygen. Mountains people need less oxygen and actually thrive on less oxygen. Their whole body system, their whole energy system is the best and most charged up when they're therefore higher up in the air, let's say. Talking about that, it is also possible that you might like to fly, or that you might like to travel therefore. I have a friend who's a mountains person, and she's a flight attendant. So she loves being up in the air. She loves being in higher altitude. She loves having the perspective of things. And that's really the key factor what mountains is all about. Mountains people need to get a higher, broader perspective of things, and therefore detach from the lower perspective, and therefore get into a higher scape, if it's a mountain, if it's a flight, whatever it is, in order to gain perspective again on life. And that higher altitude happens ideally in solitude. Therefore, mountains people like and need to sometimes go just by themselves, maybe on a hike into the mountains, go up onto a viewing point, maybe being with themselves, being with their thoughts, being with their feelings, in order to gain clarity on their life again. That means that they will always have this theme of detachment, and the theme of solitude, and the theme of going out and going somewhere else. And then in order to come back with newfound clarity, with newfound ideas, with a settled perspective. So we have mountains that like the actual physical mountains and the hikes or the height, etc. But you could also create a mountain space by living in the attic, or living on the rooftop, or having a penthouse or something of that nature. If you're mountains and you're living in the basement, that might not feel very good for you, and that might deprive your energy and make you really anxious. So you want to see how can you live further up in the building or the house where you're living. If you live in a city, you might naturally be drawn more probably towards living in the countryside, or at least connecting always with nature, with the countryside, because as I said in the beginning, it's really more about landscape. So maybe if you live in the city, you want to have a cottage, or you want to have a vacation home in the mountains where you can go to Also, most people that have mountains that I know or spoke to, my clients, they love to go on hikes. They love to go immerse themselves in nature from time to time, also just by themselves. That's what's really settling their energy system, settling their thoughts, etc. If we're talking about the home, how can you create it? As I said before, you want to see that you live higher up in a building. Also, you want to have a little bit more of a broader space, open rooms. You probably want to integrate a lot of plants in your home environment so you feel not so detached from nature. You want to, maybe if you look out of your window, you don't want to have immediately like a wall in front of you. You want to have a little bit of a wider perspective, a wider view, a wider range, to create your most and best energy flow. In terms of job opportunities, as I said before in these kind of videos, obviously please always follow and trust your so-called strategy and authority, whatever is coming to you basically, for example, or whatever resonates for you and is your right and correct decision-making process. But sometimes environment can already give us a little insight or clue on what we like and what kind of jobs are actually very beneficial for us. But in order to determine the whole picture, of course, that's why I always recommend a personal reading, because here we can only look at certain aspects, but the interpretation of a whole chart is obviously something really, really different. And what also happens is that you get an energy activation with that. So if you feel called to get a personal reading, you can click on my links below to get to my website or all the other things that I'm offering in order to have a better understanding of your personal chart. So let's dive into the job choices, let's say, that often mountain people make. So we have a lot of artists that are working kind of in their own private space. They go travel or they go into nature and then come back with more clarity and some ideas that they want to integrate. As said before, as giving the example, I have a friend who's a flight attendant who is mountains, and pilot could be another job, or you want to be a hiking instructor or a skiing instructor. Or you want to work as a nature ranger, something connected with nature, something connected with heights. You might be a window cleaner for high rises. Or you just work in an office which is very high, located up the ground in a high rise. So, but that's, as I said, just glimpses and ideas. Obviously, everything is possible for you. And yeah, let me know if you have any more questions, any concerns. Write it down in the comments below. Always happy to hear from you. And with that being said, I'm sending you so much love, and bye until the next time.